Hey guys, it's Paul. I just wanted to do a little video about the difference between the Old Covenant and the New Covenant. Basically what I'm going to touch on is living by the law of sin and death, and living by the law of the Spirit and truth. I recently had a conversation with another brother not too long ago, and he was asking me questions about the Bible, and I told him that I live by the New Covenant, and he said that the Old Covenant, he lives according to all the laws that were passed down in the Old Covenant. He doesn't eat pork, he observes the Sabbath, and there's all kinds of rules and regulations that he lives by. So he tries to incorporate the Old Covenant and the New Covenant, and I don't think that's even possible. As far as living according to laws and traditions, in the New Covenant we're set free from the law. We're no longer under the law. And I've had some brothers on Facebook have a conversation that says that we are under the law or we're not under the law. What it comes down to is that we're under the law, but we're under the law in a different way, I guess is how you'd put it. Anytime you live by a set of rules and regulations that are written down on a piece of paper, because of the language of the written word, it's very constricting and confining, and it's impossible for anybody and everybody to interpret a law the same way, because all people are different. All people have different sets of beliefs, or different sets of how they would interpret different letters or different meanings. There's all different kinds of people. So that's what makes living by the letter of the law impossible. For instance, let's say the law, what is it? Thou shalt not steal. We'll just use that one. What happens if there's a situation where you need to take something that doesn't belong to you, and it's a matter of life and death? Like, let's say somebody's dying on the street, and you see a clothesline in somebody's backyard, and you need bandages, and they're not home. So you run over and you take those bandages, and you use them. You've just stolen, according to the letter of the law. But if you feel that what you're doing is justified and what you're doing is right, then the law of the Spirit supersedes the law of the letter, because it's spiritual in nature. You're doing according to what is in your heart to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I told this one brother that the Old Covenant was surpassed by the New Covenant, and he didn't like that too much. He said that God doesn't make covenants and then disregard them, or I don't remember how he put it, but he said that the Old Covenant had to be upheld or whatever. God didn't disregard the covenant. The Old Covenant was put in place to show us what life is like living under the letter of the law. He didn't make a mistake. He just did that for our benefit, for our understanding. So they lived out the Old Covenant, and we have a record of everything that they did and everything that went wrong. And now we're under the New Covenant. The New Covenant does not disregard the Old Covenant. You're still under the law. You just don't follow the letter of the law. God said that I will live in my people, and I will place my laws upon their hearts. So, whenever you come up against a situation, if you're a Christian and you've never even, maybe you've heard about Jesus or maybe you heard about God, and you start praying and doing whatever you feel is right to do, you just have the basic understanding of that there is a God and about Jesus, and you start praying and worshiping God, but you don't have a Bible. What are you going to do? Is it possible to be a Christian in such a situation? So, you are under the law of the Spirit. You start to do what you feel is right, what is in your heart. So, thou shalt not murder. Maybe before you became a Christian without a Bible, you were a murderer. And now that you're a Christian without a Bible, the Spirit comes upon you and it places conviction in your heart that, hey, it's not good to kill somebody. And that's what the law of the Spirit is. You don't have to have the written word. You have God in you, teaching and guiding you and raising you to be a good moral person. So that goes with what Jesus said. Remember when he was talking to the crowd and he said, "You have heard it written," or "You have heard it said, but I say." You've heard it said, but I say. What was he doing there? He was saying, well, it is written, and these people teach what is written in this way. But that's not the heart. That's not doing according to the heart. So he was teaching the law of the Spirit. From the law of the Spirit. He was interpreting Scripture from the law of the Spirit. So does that mean we don't recognize any of the laws? Well, some of the laws you recognize just because it's common sense. Thou shalt not steal. Obviously, we all know that it's not right to steal someone's property. But in a situation like I outlined before, where you're led by the law of the Spirit, in a certain situation, the law of the Spirit trumps written law. And that's what it's meant to be. That's the perfect law. The law of the letter, it is written, kills. Why? Because you're always trying to live according to a law, and it's not in you. It's not a part of you. And you can't do it on your own. When you're living according to the law of the Spirit, those laws become who you are. They're just not some written code, some written word. You don't memorize them and just do. They become who you are. Well, I hope that helped. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.